2, 3, in the place to be.
I like to introduce myself. My name is Whirlwind D.
And it goes a little something like this.
Going way, way back to the early days.
Way back in the days when hip-hop began.
For all the pioneers, I'm going way back.
Love to hear the story again and again of how it all got started way back when.
Listen to this, just listen to this, just listen to this, just listen to this.
From the gutter snipe. Real beats plus real rhymes equals the Pioneers Hip Hop Show with my man Whirlwind D on KFM.
Whirlwind D on KFM.
Yo, this is Phill Most Chill, still out to kill. And you are listening to the Pioneers Hip Hop Show presented by Whirlwind D on KFM. Get busy, get lost.
Now we are ready if you are ready.
Winning spirit, winning street, never looking back. Winning spirit, I win the hands down, the humor and the vigor and the big heart. My habitat, the big lead, the fraud-proof lads, G-Kid, I could well pull the heartstrings and I snap back, flip when you least expect. Isophyllin is my middle name, get the picture, I ain't never isolate. I make spirit, I know the circuit like water, make method out of chaos, bring chaos out of order. What you heard and what you seen before, I bring the meanest raw combo, I done this all, seen it all, keep it all, underneath the peak, a new era flag. You heard it right, heard it first, I'm the certified chrome plated. I am Mikey this time, righteous sign. I market, distribute and license out. With that heavy embroidery, now I'm leaps and bounds ahead of any and all of these fake sons of bitches. Curb law, I run amongst the pigeons. Uncle Fester, I'm the famous grass, improving with age. I'm a prudent investor, the solopreneur. Your dream world is getting shattered like a chandelier. With that winning streak, never looking back, victory within its reach. I got my feet firm, rooted on familiar ground. I got my head down, I run upon that minute mile. With that winning spirit and that winning streak, never looking back, victory within its reach. I got my feet firm, rooted on familiar ground. I got my head down, I run upon that minute mile. This is petrol dice rap, electrify the hearts and minds of millions. I'm hard to find. I put out the antiques and glue drop. They're good people, but the music made this cookie dough stuff. Witness it, I'm the articulate and slide, devious and spry, media savvy, the Olympics on a rock. And it's high time I hijack the airwaves. The casual attitude is lackluster in comparison. I'm Harrison, still frantic, still patriot. Scuff the war down, I stays comfortable. Short brothers getting stained in my habitat, so I switch views. Change vistas, flip visuals. Eye of the beholder, I am the beholder of this iron mic, I still supply him. Never under watchful eye on attic cardboard floors. Bar but not city's good shadow on my feet and scuffed Air Force. Get on my lonesome for the work done, iron only I win. Maximize my airtime in bed that I kill with the main name. Kill you with a play on words, kill you in a year's time. Adidas like architect, my target right behind the ears still. Years passing, no change, they regress, word to Charles Darwin. My straight jacket dance got a more crooked. I'm in the trees, look up from your high horse, it's too late. With that winning streak, never looking back, victory within its reach. I got my feet firm, rooted on familiar ground. I got my head down, I run upon that minute mile. With that winning spirit and that winning streak, never looking back, victory within its reach. I got my feet firm, rooted on familiar ground. I got my head down, I run upon that minute mile. A heavyweight in training, I stay restrained, keep the semen in my ball sack. The ball track of I'll be hiding, free music to per diem spending. When OT and stage diving I'm in. When I play clutch my ear to the ground, I make the earth move. When I apply pipe, the lyric written pure. Feel the peace of mind, the pen feels the paddle. School book metaphors, the freehand is bad luck. Life a lotto, put your quids in. Watch your sad story on repeat, the power hungry caught drifting. Point cream, they stick or twist life. So the story goes, stay the same until they lay down in pinstripes. Spit guard, I rip apart flows, no half measures, no half stepping, half living, half legend. Winning spirit, winning street, never looking back.
Hey yo, with the deal, this is Oxygen from Strong Island, representing the Vinyl Veterans crew, and you checking out the Pioneers of Hip Hop show with my mellow Whirlwind D on Kane 103.7 FM.
Welcome, the Pioneers Hip Hop Show in full effect on Kane 103.7 FM, Whirlwind D and Specifik with you for the next 2 hours. Now, before we get into the show, I've got to give a massive shout out to my man Disorder, ripping up for the last 2 hours on Kane with the incredible, unmissable dub Chronicles. Now, if you're brand new to the show, the Pioneers Hip Hop Show is all about celebrating that culture we know as hip hop, and each month we dig deep into different genres, different labels, different areas. And if you've been following us on the social media, you'll know that tonight's show is all about the history of hip hop in Nottingham, UK. Now, you can catch our previous shows on the KNFM Mixcloud. Some of them are on there, and also on the Whirlwind D YouTube channel. In fact, the last 2 shows, which were about the history of hip-hop in Boston, as well as the history of cut and paste, are on the YouTube Whirlwind D channel. So any likes, comments, very much appreciated. So let's get into tonight's show, which is all about the history of hip-hop in Nottingham. Now, for the purposes of tonight's show, we're going to start in the early 80s, and we're actually going to go all the way through to the early O's, past the turn of the millennium. But for tonight's show, as with all the shows, we are going to focus on the records that came out. Obviously, hip-hop is a culture that's much bigger than just the music, but we very much focus on the records. We do, of course, mention graph and b-boying as we go on our journey, but that's the main focus for the show. And, of course, as per usual, it's not an exhaustive history. We can't fit everything in, but what we try and do is focus on those essential moments, those records which really marked important sea changes. And of course, you're going to hear most, if not all, of the legendary Knots artists, such an important city. So you probably guessed this, of course, from our intro. The first cut you heard was the mighty Cappo and Styly C with a track called Winning Spirit from 2011. An absolutely brilliant slice of Nottingham hip-hop. And Nottingham really has been a hotbed of hip-hop creativity right from the early days of hip-hop in the UK. So as I say, let's get into the history. We're going to go right back to the start, and in many ways there's one word that sums up the beginnings of hip-hop in Nottingham. Well, it's 2 words actually: Rock City. Now, DJ Jonathan Woodliff was a DJ at the club, and he set up a couple of jams. One was on a Saturday afternoon and the other was a Friday evening club night, and they started to attract heads from across the country in the early 80s. Now, the Saturday afternoon jams were b-boy focused and quickly became known across the country for their legendary b-boy battles. The Rock City crew and the Assassinators B-Boys crews, which featured Courtney Rose, more about him later, formed in the early 80s and soon both became legendary Nottingham crews and even toured Europe. Now, at the same time, Woodliff's mixtapes also became quite legendary and sought after. Legend has it that he used to sell these at the jams and at Arcade Records in Nottingham, which, like so many of the early hip-hop stocking record shops in the UK, had all the latest US jams on import. So with a steady flow of US rap records, Woodliff's mixtapes and a very healthy b-boy scene courtesy of Rock City, this is in part why Nottingham became such a central spot to the early hip-hop scene. However, as happened in much of the UK, by the time we got to the mid-80s, attendance at these Saturday jams was starting to dwindle. And as a result, many of the b-boys became beatmakers and MCs. So, for example, you had KID, may he rest in peace, absolute legend from the Rock City crew, or Dr. D from the Assassinators, who of course went on to be one half of Subsonic 2. They were starting to make beats and make music. So it's really at this point that the recorded history of Knots rap records really started to take shape. And with this, we're going to begin with one of the earliest Knots hip-hop jams.
We're going to do a song that you never heard before.
thinking, left you like a dummy. I'm shit out loud, crowd moving the crowd. Don't frown, get down. It's hard to get found with me on the side. Get a lot. What? That's right. As I rock the spot, realistic, miss it, I'm clever, son. You know the time, the place, where I'm coming from. Eject around, my time is mine. Fine, yes, I'll confess, don't mess with this line, cause I'm raw and score. Top marks of a 10 to the T.O.P. and then down again. At the disco club, jam the way has party. A rebel, I'm sticking, but no bodyguardy. Tough on the mic, where others are weak. I speak and teach every day of the week with talent. Growing and showing up no skill. Mistakes in this rap are 0, nil. Spelling out my name, the same goes well. The F-I-Z-A and the L is rising, surprising, kicking up the storm. Left you standing cold while I'm standing in the warm. Respect perfects, you bet I'll connect with the word you heard and you won't forget me. On the mic, the one who will be doing, proving, supplying it, breaking, making, taking while you're hearing it. Supreme with a team, a posse, and a crew. You turn blue in the face to place. I'm coming through as a battle, torture like cattle. Thanking you for hearing just what I do. Best I rest, never. I'm too clever, too cool, too calm, too tough like leather. Hard is the feeling, hit the ceiling, roof applaud, you adore, applaud, and want more as I chill. Get ill, hang out without a doubt like a boxing match. KO, knockout, break your addiction, track with the rap. As I say, it's on the track. Because of F, me as you see that. I hit the rhyme like a baseball bat. The 6 no tricks, we were cut to 6. On time, alright, from a DJ quick. The 2 is kicking with production skill. No space to chase on time to L. Word, cause I ain't second or third, but I am the other 2. Any mother who comes by me, brother, ruling the sound from my MC school. Then watch and observe as I say, just cool, cool. To my homie and brother Sam, cooling out, Pepsi Wild every time, along with the man called Soulcondor B. The Cookie Crew, rocking it for all the ladies out there, along with DJ Pogo and DJ Business for the freshest cuts. And yo, Fuzzy D and Zach of LWR, the funkiest pirate radio station. Oh, nearly forgot, last but not least to my disc jockey, DJ Quick.
103.7 KID FM.
Like a naughty boy, I'll scold ya. Like a piece of clay, I'll mold ya. Put you in my hand, I'll hold ya. You're like cardboard, I'll fold ya. Said it couldn't be done, but we did it. Can you handle this? Are you with it? I gotta start breaking barriers. We did it our way, you didn't carry us to this level. On black wax, I hit the red light to the amp max. Break your back to hit the track. Are you whack? I ain't with that, cause I've grown and shown. You're the sheep, I kick you like a stone. Down the road, around the corner, and you fell. Well, I warned you, stay out of the path of MSD. See, I'm the judge and the jury. I had enough, so I cut a plate. Your time's up, cause it's too late. Yeah, time is running out. I have no fears, I have no doubt. A man with knowledge went to college. Corner with suckers, I will polish. Like when I at the table, I'm willing and able to produce, seduce, get your attention. Listen up, I got something to mention. An extension, I will continue. Like food, I'll serve you on a menu. You get eaten, beaten, and devoured. This ain't Johnny or even Howard. It's the M, a meaningful poet. Listen up, you all should know it. I won't be friends, I won't debate. Your time's up, it's too late. Listen up, I'm telling you, I've had enough. Your time is through. Do you think this is a children's game? I'll burn you like a glowing flame. I watch you smolder till you turn to ash. Spread you around like on a wanted grass. So heed the lesson, cause the lesson is taught. Using wisdom, knowledge and thought. Try to be a bit more righteous. You wanna be friends? Well, I might just. You have your chance to come through the gate. But your time's up, it's just too late. In other words, you got no chance. While we're touring Germany, Italy and France, you'll be stuck at home and I'll feel great. I told you, it's just too late. I wanna say a special thank you to the singer-song production team, my main man DJ Quick, Fizal Eff, DJ Slide Zero, DJ High Point, all the people at QMC, and my main man Nigel. Peace world, I'm out here.
Kane 103.7 FM.
Do something fresher. Ease back, live life at your leisure. Cool, max, relax. Sucker, step up, don't be giving them smacks. Reach the peak, one level higher. You're at the top, then not let them rock. Get hype, but don't get high. That's for suckers who are just gonna fly. Early die, get out quick. Drop the habit like a 10-ton brick. Rock the spot, dot to dot. Join the lines, come out on top, go for gold. That's my advice. Be a winner, succeed in life. Take heed, don't be dealing in greed. For to grow, you must sow the seed, help feed. Encourage the youth, teach each to live in truth. Live fact, live life to the full. Look on the bright side, not the dull. Don't be full of hate, share a piece of the plate. Share alike, it's time to relate. What's the date? 7589. Time to change, time to feel fine. The way I live gives me pleasure to give pleasure. Drop the pressure, the pressure. Look, listen, learn, earn respect, put your life in effect, come correct. Intention, direct, project. Peace, equality, if you believe then yo, you gotta follow me. Not as a leader, but as a feeder of fact. Put the world intact, be exact. Meaning and motion, speak your mind. If you got a notion to rid the world of bad intenders. Be serious, I ain't playing pretenders. From me to you, a worldwide view. True to all and each. Yes, I have knowledge and I will teach, not preach. Preaching is for preachers, then again teaching is for teachers. But I will teach anyway. Just listen to what I say. It comes with truth, it comes with peace. War sucks, let the violence cease, live in peace. Live at your leisure, like I said before. Drop the pressure, the pressure. Thanks is going out to the Center Spot Youth Organization, my girlfriend Vanessa and my little baby son Adam. Also my favorite cousin DMT, but most of all DJ Quick, the producer, his partner in rhyme Fizal Eff, my main man Joe down in Frontier Studios, and a very, very special thanks goes out to my mom and dad. Drop the pressure, drop the pressure.
Yo, what's up? This is Chrome representing the All C&I, No Half Stepping Records, and you're checking out my man Whirlwind D on the Pioneers Hip Hop Show on Kane FM. Keep it locked.
Kane 103.7 FM, the Pioneers Hip Hop Show. If you've just joined us tonight, it's all about tracing the history of Nottingham hip hop. Now, as per usual on the show, when we get to the tail end of the show, we've got some brand new music just to prove that we do listen to brand new hip hop as well. And of course, my man Specifik is in the mix later on in the show, absolutely catching wreck with a Nottingham selection. More about that later on. Let's get back into the story. So by the mid to late 80s, with only the most dedicated b-boys still dancing, many of the crews had turned to making the music instead. And this was actually a picture that you saw across the country. Now, one of the first Nottingham rap records was MC Fizal Eff and DJ Quick's Just Cool, which featured on the brilliant London compilation Hardcore Volume 1. Now, Fizal Eff had been b-boying in Europe, and one of the shows he performed at, they'd actually asked him to do some rap, and that's where his MCing career started. Now, having met DJ Quick, otherwise known as Dominic Owen, at the New Music Seminar in the USA, the two joined forces and recorded Just Cool, which would then provide the spark for them to set up their own Nottingham-based label, Singer-Song Records. So the first record you heard was that MC Fizal Eff and DJ Quick debut that came out in Hardcore Volume 1, and then we moved into two tracks from their label Singer-Song Records. Now, Dominic Owen would spend much of the 90s in New York and initially worked on productions alongside luminaries such as Hitman Howie T. Now, the first release on the label was the classic old school anthem It's Too Late by Sunshine Power. Now, Sunshine Power was actually MSD, and MSD was also a Nottingham b-boy and had met Fizal Eff during those early b-boy years before taking up the mic himself. Now, as well as being one of the original Knots b-boys, MSD would later spend much of his time in the States and worked alongside artists such as Cypress Hill and Loose Ends. And now, with that record and the following record that I'm about to mention, I deliberately let it play out into the shouts because I think that gives a real snapshot of Nottingham at the time. Now, the next record we played was on the same imprint, Singer-Song Records, and was the final record on Singer-Song Records itself, which was by MC Groove, aka Blue Eyes, and this of course was his debut. Now, he was another old school b-boy from Nottingham and would go on to become one of the most significant champions of UK rap in the early 90s, as well as releasing music on his Union Hall label. Much more on that next time or later on in the show. Now, another huge act to emanate from Nottingham, which I need to mention at this point, but who would very quickly relocate to London, were of course the legendary Stereo MCs. Now, in fact, to be precise, it was a duo, Rob B and The Head, who were originally from Nottingham, and of course they would then move to London early on to become London-based and set up G Street Records, and of course the Stereo MCs' reputation would grow from there. Right, we're going to get back into the Nottingham music, and up next for me, this is an absolutely bona fide classic. It's DJ Mink and KID.
in a position you wish you was in. Words coming out from the power within. Kill the din, want a min is a mood to meddle with. Send you on your way without a bike to pedal with. Here's the rhyme that I gave you to settle with. All trying to bring me down to your level with. Loose lips sink ships or even worse. My temperature's way up high, ready to burst. My lips are fresh, cause I live in a breathing. You never want to battle when I come, you're leaving. Paraffin lights if it's touched by a naked flame. When I hold the mic, I see rappers that do the same. It's a shame, but it's the name of the game, but still, I change my style and chill. Not once, but twice, you gotta watch the rebound. Watch the way the KID can throw down. There's not a sound to be found in the area. I look good and I fit with the interior. Step back and you'll be lost in the rubble. The KID speaks for twice the trouble. No batches needed. Twice the trouble. Can you relate?
FM.
Mac 1, ready to expose you and condemn your recruits, precise in the spice of the O&E. Mission 44 is the bossy, not glossy. Print of the state, the age, watch the lyrics, and you watch the bass. Mac 1, controller of the central east side, watch your back. A sucker died, fusion caused the suicide, his crew caused the homicide. Believe the man in the high position. MC's logic, yes, on a mission. The Mac is easy, I stated you whack. You're frustrated, logic, we fulfill our policy with the government, yes, of this industry, traded back with a scratch and logical beat. You'll get with lyrics to complete the ultimate, the bystander will get his fate as a generator, new friction. Don't condemn, destroy mission, posse total to an apex. Your basic knowledge, not complex. We make the new position. MC Mac is on a mission. Evolution, yes, changes everything but the logic for still reigning terror to the mind of the weak. bystander, you're afraid to speak out and oppose the radical on the strength. Yes, we're powerful with the national phrase for the dance floor. Socialist lover, we call the law. Concrete sign, you better listen up. Logic is the crew for bodies to huck. Blaming on the music for the violence, but hip-hop music has no silence. Beat the bike, you better listen. MC Mac is on a mission. Legislator of rhymes, two competitors trade destroy. All the predators by the store, they take a chew, sneeze, blow out. I'll diss you from an armored guard that we call the core. Fighting as such, a sucker sport putting stable rappers in a cage. Trade old penniless DJs hostage as a fear to do work. Broken MCs may get hurt, result or suffering or even a fit. Beat the pipe, yo, you better quit. Honorable DJ, move on the system. MC's logic's moving on a mission. DJ Trey gets stupid one time. A new form, MC's logic, blowing like a storm, is it worth to mention the weak? Forget it, a move from your edge, you see. As four, we lock in to a scrimmage. MC's pro with a dope image. Movement, what's the new hype? More glamorous, don't stereotype. Inventor of the Robocop dance. Trooper, reach out of your dead stance. Logic, fruitful is the dope art. Unfinished business, yes, a start. On and on and on, it keeps flowing. Yes, the fresh, and we're showing off with a composition which is easy. Do you know it's dope? Word T, logic, say punks are missing. Yes, we're on a mission.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
you're listening to Kane 103.7 FM.
Use of a microphone is a virtue, so sucker step to mine and I'll hurt you. The trend setter, factor is max. Yo, a vendetta, raw on all tracks, it's real hard, so true. Try to realize how a girl can be so wise. Knowledge undone, the right to not speak. The weak strive to seek a true pet's technique, but with my mind you'll find competition is nothing. MCs are all bluffing, cause I foresee most females are a fraud. I get bored, I just can't afford to take loss. So I portray my emblem and I try to tell them weak beats compel them to the opposite. I don't wish to play positive, so I dish you strong on a mission. Enter hype core, the sign of the beast is now 4-4. It affect my posse untouched. From those who oppose our poetry, word on word, letter on letter, from me to you, a personal vendetta. Perform every verse enticed to seduce. I play it extremes, the mic I produce, and then begin speech. My style manifests, subdue the undope. MC's on a quest. Game of vendetta, abuse for the hate. I wait for the weak to take my dope bait, and then pulling slack attack to dissect. I wreck all the whack fear I inject. Reverses thought obscene unto public. Who gives a damn? I just fuck. I'll take a lead. You choose to follow. Choke off your broke, too much to swallow. Folks of your own, forget about blame on me. Cause you see, I stand correct, you try to catch up. Contemplating, I'm waiting for the next matchup. If any, I can take many. Picking up the suckers to drop like pennies. You can gamble, but really stop and see. Fuck you, bitch, you can't cope with me. Think about it, don't you know better? Here's the news, personal vendetta. Logic, the truth, MCs operate. Compact is the Mac, a 1 to 10 rate. And as for the DJ, tricks out the trade. MCs like the force on a raid. Stages our bases, chiz holds the fort. Beats are so dope, the speakers destroy. Neutralize weak girls who just walk. Nothing to say but still have to talk. Keep your mouth shut, you speak from the butt. Truth, don't you know your MC's a slut? On the other hand, I've reached my uniqueness over all those that suffer from weakness of the knees when I touch a rhyme. Criminal minded all of the time. Females dual, I'm mentally superior. Logic plays Doberman, you play terrier. I can diss the man, may back me up. And then security's don't get fucked. I come hype, that's all it takes to stuff. True pets that claim to be better. Take a check the style, personal vendetta.
Hey yo, this is Phill Most Chill, still out to kill, and you are listening to the Pioneers Hip Hop Show presented by Whirlwind D on Kane FM. Get busy or get lost.
Kane 103.7 FM, the Pioneers Hip Hop Show, and tonight is all about Nottingham. We are celebrating the massive contribution that Nottingham has made to hip hop culture in this country and worldwide, as we've seen from some of the key players already who moved out to the States and did big things. Not to say that, of course, they didn't do big things in this country as well. So let's get back to the music. We hyped the set with Mink and KID's bona fide classic Hey Hey Can You Relate. Now, it was originally issued on Fon Records in 1989, which was a Sheffield based label, actually better known for acid house at the time, before being reissued on the more familiar 1990 version on Warp Records. Now, the late great KID was a legendary b-boy and MC from the Rock City crew, of course, which we mentioned earlier on in the show. Now, sadly, as I intimated earlier, he would pass away in 2012, but prior to this, he recorded as a solo artist briefly for Cold Sweat, and in fact, we played one of his tracks that he did for Cold Sweat back in our Cold Sweat history show a few months back. You can catch that, of course, on the Whirlwind D YouTube. Go back a few months, you'll see that on there if you list all those videos. Now, not only that, he was also one of the founding members of Pure Genius, and we're going to look into that a little bit deeper later on in the show. We then moved into two absolute heat rocks by MC's Logic. Now, the collective MC's Logic actually formed in and around 1987, and amongst others featured DJ Trade, Chisel, and of course the legendary Joe Buhdah, who would later on go to champion artists such as Mr. 45 alongside Trevor Rose on their own label Represent in the early 90s. Again, we're going to touch on that in more detail later on in the show. Now, Joe Buhdah and his crew were signed to Submission Records, which was another Derby-based label, and they were actually better known for their early house music releases. But they were signed to them on the strength of a demo that was given to Graham Parks, who was a local DJ at the Cool Cat Garage, and he was also the founder of Submission Records. Now, later on, they released two huge underground hits on Submission Records, and they were actually on the brink of signing a major label deal with Profile or Virgin. But sadly, the usual label politics crept in and meant nothing happened. Such a shame, because the two EPs they released on Submission were slamming. And the first one you heard a moment ago was a track from the first EP that they released. The track was called We're on a Mission, and then we followed that by Personal Vendetta. Both of them absolutely slamming tracks, as I'm sure you will agree. So at this point, we find ourselves at the end of the 80s, with hip-hop in the UK arguably in its first golden age in terms of commercial success. You know, artists like Caveman signing to Profile, Hijack with the Rhyme Syndicate, and so much more. And Nottingham's hip-hop culture had been firmly imprinted on what was happening in the UK. Now, earlier on in the show, we mentioned an artist called MC Groove, who went on to become Blue Eyes, and now we are going to head to his sophomore release on his own imprint. So the next track you're going to hear is an incredible one. It's Blue Eyes with DJ Mink and Soul Tip.
I awoke this morning to the sound of snap, crackle pop. Then I hit my tape for the hip hop. You don't stop and you don't quit. To the ultimate, I pick up the mic on a soul tip. Pick up the mic with a soul tip. Pick up the mic with a soul tip. Pick up the mic with a soul tip. Pick up the mic. I like to get on the soul tip, hit like a battle chip. When I'm on a battle tip, I keep a tight grip, force field, seal, top security. A form of purity, full of flavor, a rhyme to savor. You wanna bite the original raver trick? I pick up the mic on a soul tip. Pick up the mic with a soul tip. Pick up the mic with a soul tip. Pick up the mic with a soul tip. Pick up the mic. The voice is broken, it's outspoken. The eye is scoping, the mind is coping. Day in, day out, constant pressure dealt to me by the force of lesser. Backstab, grab and bite what I recite. Shade your eyesight, the rhyme is too bright. The height that I'm gaining, force field sealed, restraining pain. Pressure, power from the control tower. I shower dominance, dictatorship, leadership. This is the mothership. I fly the flag and see the color gold is sold. Signed, sealed, and delivered strong from the golden tongue on fight night. But for you it's fright night. Recite the bite, you parasite, you're testing my patience. But that's the virtue, designed to hit hard, hurt, and desert you. Astound you, rebound you, astonished, demolish, diminish, you're finished. On a soul tip. Pick up the mic with the soul tip. Pick up the mic with the soul tip. Pick up the mic with the soul tip. Pick up the mic. You better put up or shut up. When it's time to go head up, you better get up. I'm fed up, filled up with rhymes that are spilled up. Sloppy, drip droppy, flip floppy. Spoke by the cat that you copy. You copy, read me. Now you wanna go and feed me my own? Alone you're a clown. Check out the sound. Go take a trip. I pick up the mic on a soul tip.
You're listening to the sounds of Kane 103.7 FM.
As a figure of speech, I'm down with OPP. Are you with it? Tell me quick if you're ready to kick it. Kung Fu mad, I be coming in kicking. Keep that booty clean, cause I be licking it like chicken. I don't claim to be an original Casanova, do watching me dance to doggy style like Trevor. Pop the vitamins for all the skins. That's how the procedure begins as we commit sins. Back and forth in unison, so off the hard strokes. I combine funky styles like no other bloke. So what you singing? Skins, you got it hooked up. The because I compels round a corner to pick it up. Pick it up, 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 pi But not too thinner, always with a heart sober because I'm a winner. I'm light skinned, 5'10.5 inches long, half an inch taller than Rambo Stallone, but slimmer. I'm kinda thinner. Let's drop our pants, I make him look like a beginner. I liven up around dark, ready for a rave, looking rough like George Michael without a shave. And hitting the skins with the BM or the Benz or the Volkswagen car all day with my friends on the streets, pumping them beats. I'm looking for any jam whilst confronting all the freaks. Oh, lottie-dottie, I like to party in a place where I can rubbing it up and back up a punani. I'm just a man that's on the mic, and when I back up a punani, I back up on it right. So mix a lot said, better pack a lot of back, and if you ain't on that, bitch, it's the sack. My stamina is there, don't stand still, cause I'm rough and tough. On the other hand, face what you saying, skins, you got it hooked up, because that Capel's round the corner to pick it up. Pick it up, 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 pick it up.
Kane FM.
It's nighttime, a young black man again got a dime. I seen a punk walking and talking and waiting in the dark alleyway, just stalking. As he comes around, he gets a blow to the head. The geezer knocked out, but it looks kinda dead. I text store to go rip the pocket out the trouser, make my getaway smarter than Doogie Howser. Run through the back of a derelict building, money in my pocket, I don't care if I killed him, because my arm is kinda bionic. Just robbed the man, now I need something chronic like rude boy, Bush. I weed you a push, man, I mean if you run you down, but me need some bush, so I just get a 10-pound draw, make it fat so I can fling it in the Rizzler with the fag and all that. Yeah, Buhdah brother, feel a bad Buhdah blood. Go when I get red up, I like to go for that, the cunt red, foot and green. You know them way that, cause I'm a weed smoking mother. You get me, Bradford, you get me, 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 you get me. Taxes sovereign off a guy cause it tempt me. Try to and I miss that, you get me, nah. Couldn't give a shit, cause if a twat comes around my way, I'm gonna tax it. Listen, just give me all the stuff before I wet ya. I know you get me there, but you know I'm gonna get ya. So don't sweat yourself over stupid mistakes, cause my style's grade 1, yours is only third rate, mate. Yeah, plus my ballad shines in the sun when I run with my gun. And do you want some? Come, I guess that you don't want the lead to the head leaves a twat very nearly dead. So instead, you don't upset me or sweat me. I'm a psycho, you get me? Check it, I'm gonna do another quick dash. Girl caught Ellen in the flat sells ash. It acting so fast, snatched all the cash. Me and my brethren missed in a flash. She says, yo, no, don't tax it though, but I got my cash flow. So now I gotta go and it's the weed I'm gonna buy, cause it makes me feel so high. I win a bill up a split, and I smoke some of this, I get the original red eye. So don't people I don't wanna take me for toy, but when I come around I'm shooting up your pants like a cowboy. You're a bad rude cat, you get stomped. Name's Mr. 45, I can't any crime. So don't upset me or sweat me, I got my gun to protect me from Bradford, you get me, Bradford, you get me, you get me, Bradford, you get me, you get me, Bradford, you get me, you get me, Bradford.
Griswold, Grand Imperial Caps, Kane FM, exclusive.
Kane 103.7 FM, the Pioneers Hip Hop Show. And if you've just locked in tonight, it's all about Nottingham. Don't forget, at the end of the show, we got some brand new music. The likes of Franky Roar, Alikazam, Phill Most Chill, my man Soulcondor, the Allergies, Mr. Fantastic, and so much more. We've also got my man Specifik in the mix very soon. So let's get back to the history. We find ourselves around the early 90s, and the first track you heard was from Mick Blue Eyes, and that was his second record when he had adopted the more familiar moniker Blue Eyes as opposed to MC Groove. Now in 1991 he set up his own imprint, Union Hall, and he released Soul Tip alongside DJ Mink, who of course had previously released the anthem Hey Hey Can You Relate, which we played earlier on in the show. Now the label would go on to release Derby Crew Suspects early 12s. Big shout out to the Suspect crew. And of course Mick Blue Eyes would become central to the UK scene in the early 90s, heavily involved with crews and their touring in Europe. Now next up, we had an interesting 12 by Acapella, as it featured not only the Nottingham OG MC Fizal Eff, but it also featured the first vinyl appearance of the P Brothers, Paul S, on production alongside DJ Quick, aka Dominic Owen. At the time, the duo called themselves DJ Use on the flip side. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, the rapper Acapella is actually MC Fizal Eff, who we talked about earlier, and had started singer-song records with the aforementioned DJ Quick, aka Dominic Owen. So one of those records that really connects the past with the future of the Nottingham sound. More on the P Brothers later on in the show. Now in 1993, having missed out on the promised commercial success he should have had with MC's Logic, Joe Buhdah and Trevor Rose, later known as Big Trev from out the Ville, teamed up and went independent, setting up their own label Represent Records and launching the careers of Mr. 45 with a one-off EP by Parks. We're going to hear that later in Specifik's mix, possibly named as a tribute to Graham Parks, who would of course initially signed Joe Buhdah to Submission. Who knows? I would love to know if that's a fact. But Represent Records marked the beginning of what would become a bristling late 90s knot scene. And of course you heard the track Radford You Get Me by Mr. 45, an absolute classic on Represent Records. Now I actually remember hanging out with Big Trev and Joe Buhdah when they, alongside Mr. 45 and Parks, came down to rock the stage at Flavour of the Month, which of course Liberty Grooves sponsored in the late 90s. So a really interesting time in Knott's history. So we're going to carry on now with the 90s sound, and we're going to move straight into an absolutely slamming 12 by Pure Genius, their debut at least as Pure Genius, with the track Undercover.
Casket you claim that you had it, your body on the pavement, shot up and blast. You should have stepped when I pulled out my tech. Well, getting bodies now, that's how I get reps. So I call up Chris, we're right at my crib, counting out loot and smoking up a split. Looking out my window with pure crazy madness, cause round these parts it's ruled by ghetto bastards. Everybody trying to make ends, but they be coming up short. So I hit you like Obi-Wan Kenobi with the force. It's real what I kick. Now I got your whole crew coming to check me for their daily fix. I am crack looking job off that. They wanna react, but they know that I'm strapped. So check my rhymes, yo, as I press on. Kick in the ill shit off and on. I kick a shot to the Buddhas and Mr. 45. Split what you kick harder than the 4th of July. Why would they try? But in the place you get no blah.
If you ain't from the ghetto, this is undercover. Shit real like a motherfucker. If you ain't from the ghetto, this is undercover. Shit is real like a motherfucker. If you ain't from the ghetto, this is undercover. Shit is real like a motherfucker. If you ain't from the ghetto, this is undercover. feel like a mother.
You anticipate a style that was great, now I'm here. Niggas in the rear, they can cheer. Time to make power moves. Get down in the groove, give a moody smile with the gold tooth. So what the fuck y'all time to bruck wild? Niggas in the house, they know the ish live. Now here's the flow, you know how the we go into slow motion. This situation, huh? Pure genius taking over. So run for cover, the mic is open, but son, don't even bother. I'm walking around with a cutthroat for those to slack, like a matchstick, y'all are getting snapped. And dump your body in the river. Back at home, I'm chilling, watching Sharon Stones in that quick sliver. A bad son of a bitch, which is what I am. I love pussy, money, and I really don't give a damn.
Ain't from the ghetto, this is undercover. Shit is real like a mother. Ain't from the ghetto, this is undercover. Shit is real like a mother.
Say, hey boy, oh you not hearing it.
Break down these so-called rappers in frames. Gold chain, supreme style got me ranged between acting out of order, trying to get paid, no doubt. Nothing less than high living, yo, that's what I'm all about. Though I spit, leaving heads split. Interaction, rap the RD, spin you back from where you begun. Without the rap, you probably be a nun. I be all up in your sack to your ass snitch. Fighting my style, or don't expect to get hit while I'm on top of your case. Plus your stuff right back. Your whole team couldn't explain the meaning of rap. My whole concept, word for word, keep it real style. Screwface, Jail Ramsey, here with the fam. RD and I take flight. Whenever the drama's in sight, to all the fake individuals that's out there, try to play the game when I appear. It's like, yeah. Remain in the game, so I remain focused and positive. Remain in the game, so I remain focused and positive. Remain in the game, so I remain focused and positive. Remain in the game, so I remain focused and positive. So now I'm set like clockworks. I'm like a soldier in the street walls, keeping clear for where the cops lurk, still finding ways to make dough is slow. I'm like a veteran in this rap game, I bring fear to all those who oppress my team. I can't believe all the hype left, leaving mics blessed. I've been through by your fact. You're liable to get you so smacked, trying to outstand my whole clique, you might get snapped. It's like, go on comparing yourself with a guard. My whole team always see for with your ass is soft. Only make moves if I'm with more than one head that ain't scared to get inside some beef. I would up all the rival crew, it's like what? So I'ma stay here until my time come to bust off. But all means, blow you out of the frame. You claim to be blowing up, get you so blown up. The same, you need a buck up. Yeah, in the game, this is for my peace. This is Ville. Remain in the game, so I remain focused and positive. To my man, remain in the game, so I remain focused and positive. Peace, God. Remain in the game, so I remain focused and positive. Ramsey, here with the fam, RD and I'll take Ramsey, here with the fam, RD and I'll take Ramsey, here with the fam, RD.
FM, more than meets the eye.
Yeah. Yeah, check. Caps rock, boot like a caps lock. The green smoke backdrop, get you hacked off. These cats cold cause they know I let the facts drop. I'm put them in another zone when I smash ducks. It's like a cold night breeze when I breathe soft. Turn into a hurricane when I blast off. Thinking about how many wars in the past cost lives when the beef didn't squash and the killings never stopped. The world seems cold but my rap's not. Yo, my pearl gems cold cause they pipe hot. Learners get the permits so they getting wiped off. Too many obscure bricks still uncovered in the loft. Mike's speech getting lodged in the soft membrane, letting beats lift from the block. Cluster around like a clock when I spit froth. Running guide forks when the roof blows top. Your mind needs 12 memory blocks just to get across, let alone comprehend my rap. And to your prize be the size of world map. Interfere in a manner that make you fall back. Your style mean nothing like old stats. It's something that you're best to come to terms with. This crooked earth like a journalist, hoping that you fall for the precipice. Bring it to the grill of any pessimist. Work day night in the chemist for majestics. I take the praise and the message to the MCs who restless. Finally, you knowing who the best is. No questions. When I'm holding up the mic, people stare, peeping how I take it there. Checking how I lace the hawk, analyzing every state and every vocal, rhyming in the focal, cause my style stays local. When I'm broken up the mic, people move, seeing that my points prove. Knowing Cappo's off the rack, recognizing every prop's well invested, clocking who the best is, style stay decrepit. Trojan executor, rim shots roll like an old horse, filled with full force, send you off course. Build bridges to the export, clear the units, sell the text over shores in minutes. Supply and demand, 7-side vinyl is the ethic. Even if the wax only carries 2 tracks on it, nomadic, waiting for the point of when you panic. Then like a last domino, I slam it, battlematic, giving expertise as I boost these, slicing MCs like tension in the air. When I rap, they stare, cause I give them what they want. If I wasn't touching right, they let me go on. If I wasn't busting into someone, they'd be no one. Count yourself blessed that I chose you to be here. Least you know you could have been it. We all trying to make this. I got no leg room. It's shit, yo. Take it down a peg for these basic herbivore rapper. Let me give your rhyme a facelift and pick up the bass slip. Cause on you, lab session just wasted. Studio days, just to smoke too much. I get emaciated when I spark sound moves off. Take a leaf off a real novelist, one who's holding up straight like an obelisk. Raw talent that's obvious to being the best there is. When I'm holding up the mic, people stare, peeping how I take it there. Checking how I lace the hawk, analyzing every state and every vocal, rhyming in the focal, cause my style stays local. When I'm broken up the mic, people move, seeing that my points prove. Knowing Cappo's off the rack, recognizing every prop's well invested, clocking who the best is, style stay decrepit. Have respect and great care, like you in a must. When you standing in the line of the bus, see what happens to the calluses, they vanish. Talk inside mouth, get you banished. Take away your tations and brandish, your beak did us damage. Don't you know how many of us famished out here on the marks for a challenge? While I watch you all hustle for your stage rights, bickering while you blocking up the brave mics. Standing there because you are a mate of this guy, but who's he off with him? And what good does he bring? Nah, you just a name dropper. Nothing else in your life you should have learned, now you lame proper. This ain't for no hopes, this is for protectors of the flame. The rules got bent, so now I'm taking the reins. Never cease till I'm getting the feast, cause I rise like yeast, peace or defeat, where you wanna meet. When I'm holding up the mic, people stare, peeping how I take it there. Checking how I lace the hawk, analyzing every state and every vocal, rhyming in the focal, cause my style stays local. When I'm broken up the mic, people move, seeing that my points prove. Knowing Cappo's off the rack, recognizing every prop's well invested, clocking who the best is, style stay decrepit.
Yeah, what's going on, party people? It's your boy Mikey D of the LA Posse and Main Source, and now I represent elements of hip hop. So right now you're tuned in to the Pioneers Hip Hop Show with my man DJ Whirlwind D right here on Kane 103.7 FM. Come on, y'all, keep it locked, man. This is where real hip hop lives.
Yo, D, I was just messing with this beat in the lab, and I thought, you know what? Let me just pass him this beat, rock 32 bars straight, and we're gone. What are you saying?
Kane FM, the Pioneers Hip Hop Show. Tonight's all about Knott's history. We are breaking it down. We find ourselves in the mid-90s. And of course, in a moment, my man Specifik's going to be stepping up, so hold tight to Kane FM for that. Let's get back to the stories. So, with the closing of the sadly short-lived Represent Records, Trevor Rose, who was Joe Buddha's old partner, set up Peer Pressure Records / Viking Productions to release 2 12s by Pure Genius. Now, interestingly, this would of course be DJ Fever's debut, who would later become part of the Out de Ville collective, and of course did some cuts on one of our very own Beeline recordings, 7 Inches, a few years back. The track you heard when we hyped the set was the sounds of Pure Genius and Undercover, which was the first of those 2 Peer Pressure 12-inch singles, and that one is absolutely slamming in my opinion. We then followed this up with Lee Ramsey's sophomore release, RD Style. Now, Big Trev had followed Peer Pressure, the label, with Real Deal Records in 1996, which was a vehicle to release his projects with Lee Ramsey initially and producer Nick Dimes. Now, Big Trev had been working with Lee since back in 1993, and the title of Lee Ramsey's sophomore EP, RD Style, was of course a tribute to the label Real Deal. Now, the second EP, which is the one that I played, also featured some early material by Scorzay Zee, Tampa and Fidel Castro, and through this process the Out the Ville crew started to coalesce. So the track I played by Lee Ramsey was called Few Remain in the Game, which is my favourite track off that EP. Now, the third release on Real Deal was entitled Out the Ville and would of course coin the name of the Future Collective. And the crew itself were from St Anne's and very much built around Big Trev's recording studio in Stansville, which basically became a hangout for the crew. More about Out the Ville later on. Now, the final track that we played was one of my favourite artists from the UK, the mighty Cappo, and his debut EP for Sun Records, which came out in 1999. And the track we played was a track called Holding Up. Now, Cappo would go on to become one of the most renowned Knots artists, and of course his recording career is still going strong to this present day. So we're going to pause for the chorus. I say pause for the chorus because Specifik is going to drop a selection of Nottingham bombs, but we're going to pause with the history for a moment, fill a few gaps in via Specifik's mix, and once again he has cooked up an absolute blisterer. So it's over to my man for Specifik for his monthly mix.
Take care of the back up off these, let me take care of the back up off these, let me take care of the
Your head, now let you dip your bread in. Only you decide on which you're getting. The world will either kick your head, now let you dip your bread in. Only you decide on which you're getting. I see in the dark, travel at night, hitting high speed, adrenaline rush, temperature 90, superhuman. 2001, 20-minute colourful soundscape throughout your cerebellum. Living off my wits now. See too many fed living off my wits now. See too many fed living off my wits now. See too many fed into the walls. There is no exception to the rules. Get your down payment before the bill is called. Remember what you're aiming for.
Back up off these, let me take care of the business. It be that black guy illegal and gifted. After 5-0, they can grab my nut sack. Say what I wanna say, genius got the back. Now I unchained brains, rhymes ain't the same as the niggas who claim that they reign on hip hop, but they get no props. So pop goes the weasel. For real, you can't ask my gator people.
Hello, who's that? You again? I told you last time, I'm busy. You kicking a verse down the phone to me? You need to get yourself on the garage track, mate, where most of our shit is. What's that? You think Jay-Z's blowing up? It's blowing something. Girls, 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 girls here doors. Yeah, Elton John got married, mate. You get me? I don't think you do. Are you some sort of Jamie Oliver knobhead who thinks it's trendy to ride a moped down to Sainsbury's and cook some carrots, throw him in the air, catch him in his pan like a twat? Give him a ring, go round for some twat lessons. You can't rap, you're going nowhere. You've got ginger pubes and a big chin like Craig David.
On point like John Vaughan, you get with or get moved out, but not this flow. Cold crush, first generation, steel horse, third rail, slang gram wizard. Watch, remember that there. Watch, remember that there. Your money short and the grudges are long. Watch, remember that there. Your money short and the grudges are long con. You're a marker, my life goes in depth. The Olympics on a rock, pocket change. The 50th floor, I sling go round till the lungs burst. Flesh of my flesh, blood of mine comes first. Ink blots on the scalp, raw shack. E Pericito, now you die down. Wounded animal, just lie down. LP case closed, that's 9 down. I've been stood alone flow since 9-9.
Hold it! Now, you get out of here, I'm warning you.
Alright, testing. Hey, is this thing on? Testing. Is this thing on? Can you hear me back there? Yeah, well, then shut up. Alright? Hey, listen.
I step out my house, stuff a moldy sock up in your mouth, and tell you what it's all about. Standing on the roof of a mini, running through the city centre with 60 miles an hour, heading for the border. Passers by, putting up their hands for a five. When I slap them, I detach their arms from their sides. I grab a snare from this beat, and beat the beat to bits. When I'm finished with the snare, I beat the beat with kicks and chuck it in a ditch with a gag in its mouth. For a midnight, I'm the one who's dragging it out, cleaning it up, telling it I'm sorry it huffs. When it forgives me, I break its loop with a right hook. Give the track a half Nelson, till it says when. I bash it till it's never quantizing again. The slimiest phlegm, from the rotten gut to the mic. Leave you standing in pitch black like I was the night.
Kane 103.7 FM. Once again, the studio is on fire. My man Specifik dropping bombs left, right, and centre. Nottingham style, a little bit of Pitman in there. Of course, Styly C alongside Cappo. Had to have some straight up Cappo in there. Pure Genius, Parks, Represent Crew. So much goodness. So let's get back to the history. We've got our final stop on our tale. Obviously, I said earlier it can't be exhaustive because there's so much good hip-hop out there, but we've picked some of the real highlights. So we're going to go towards the end of the 90s now, and then once we've done that, we're going to move into the new music. So around the early O's, Nottingham hip-hop was having somewhat of a renaissance along with the rest of the UK. Now, not only were artists like Cappo and Out the Ville blowing up UK-wide, but a new production team, the P Brothers, set a new standard with their trademark heavy Bronx style. Now, they were associated with the brilliant Nottingham-based magazine Big Daddy, and of course known for their DJ Ivory Anyway, Hear No Evil series, which provided a rocket fuel catalyst for collectors of rare hip-hop everywhere. And of course they had that incredible challenge to name the tracks. Brilliant time in hip-hop. Now, they also released a series of heavyweight EPs and an album which featured the cream of US and UK artists. Now, as we mentioned earlier on in the show, of course, Paul S had got his first taste of production way back in 1992 on that acapella EP. And actually, when you listen to his track, which you didn't play earlier, which was titled, or it was named DJ Use, or the artist was at least, you can see that heavy Bronx drum style even coming out then. Now, the first track you're going to hear in a moment is from the P Brothers' first EP, which was a white label, Heavy Bronx Experience Volume 1, and it's a track featuring none other than Cappo called Elysium Fields. I absolutely love it. We're then going to move on to two tracks from the Out the Ville collective, who, like I said earlier, were from St Anne's and formed around Big Trev's recording studio in Stansville, which basically became a hangout for the crew. And the first track you're going to hear is a collective track. The track's called Paid 'Em No Mind. Absolutely love this one. It takes me back to the Undercover days, and it features Miss Red, Scorzay Zee and Lee Ramsey, and featured on a limited sampler out on their own Out de Ville label. And then from that same white label EP, we couldn't do a Nottingham show without the legendary Scorzay Zee, so an early-ish track from him called The Wishmaster. So let's get straight into it. It's the sound of the P Brothers.
What does this god sound like?
Alternative.
Does he sound like this? Sound of this god? It just depends on which particular evening we're talking about.
Stay sharp, keep your eye on the park, then you might be on the same level as the Cap was at the start. I'm on a downhill spiral, stuck in the dark, tripping over and then getting up again to depart. But it's useless, I end up in the same places. The track bring a strange taste to my ears, taste buds. All I do in the day is engrave beats, scraping at the surface until the verse fits perfect. Contemplating depths on a regular basis, seeing through the pages, reading information. At times, I want to travel back to the ancients and tell them of the future and its lost guidance. UK artists, I never had a favourite. I listen to myself rap, you could call it vain, but I couldn't give a fuck. Just opening the gates, I'm building the tolerance to negotiate over break. Passing over the point to the point you're lost. Crossing over the line you shouldn't have crossed. I see the walls closing, I'm feeling the crush. You have to let it pass and just limit the loss. Passing over the point to the point you're lost. Crossing over the line you shouldn't have crossed. I see the walls closing, I'm feeling the crush. You have to let it pass and just limit the loss. No place is my home, or name is my own. My only security is the safe in my dome. I vote down thoughts and escape from the show. With a twist of the dial, I'm ready to throw everything I got and hold close to me in tow. Could be taken in a second, so I'm keeping the coats. I hold it to my chest, till my dying breath. I'll be the Cap, with my own spin on the track. I care for the people who care back. After that you're on your own. I don't have the skills on tap, this is extra. I put the graft in the mixture and push it to you quicker than you know what. Just hit you from the N to the O to the dub D, from the tension and stress at the highest degree. The world caves in from the style and the beat. I guarantee a crash like the Manx TT. Passing over the point to the point you're lost. Crossing over the line you shouldn't have crossed. I see the walls closing, I'm feeling the crush. You have to let it pass and just limit the loss. Passing over the point to the point you're lost. Crossing over the line you shouldn't have crossed. I see the walls closing, I'm feeling the crush. You have to let it pass and just limit the loss. Stand on thin slabs of ice in a climate that's freezing. Taking care to watch for the ice cracking. No matter how I tread, I always end up underneath it. Frozen and swimming for a hole just to breathe in. I'm stuck under the surface, fatigued and drowning. I feel like I'm Caesar with thieves around him. They're watching for a break in my pure concentration, so they can kill me off and dictate the talisman. Hold the rhyme like a talisman or medallion, it's not a physical thing. So when I shed the skeleton and enter the Elysium fields, I will be everything inside of one soul. Reveling in benefits, past to the present, I keep on developing. And Paul S keeps blessing instrumentalists, making you reenter like a plant to the weather. If these rappers are the talkers, then I'm the ventriloquist. Passing over the point to the point you're lost. Crossing over the line you shouldn't have crossed. I see the walls closing, I'm feeling the crush. You have to let it pass and just limit the loss. Passing over the point to the point you're lost. Crossing over the line you shouldn't have crossed. I see the walls closing, I'm feeling the crush. You have to let it pass and just limit the loss. I'm the Cap. You have to let it pass and just limit the loss.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
you're listening to Kane 103.7 FM.
Flashback, it's Phill again. Miss Red's on the track, spit fluid skills from a pen. And if you ain't ready then, tough shit, take a seat, let the beat just flip your 10. Feet off the ground to the air, out the Ville coming through with a style that is rare. We just wanna reach the top where we belong. And the way things are going, if we're too long, we're too strong to go wrong. Won a battle, then it's on. From the beat to the verse, feels like we dropped a bomb. When you ask, you can call us crap if you want. You can diss us if you want, boo us off the stage if you want. Cause this is our time to shine. And all them jealous beats, we pay them no mind.
This is how it is, they say. You must live your life this way. This is how it's going to stay. Pay them no mind, pay them no mind. 9 to 5 every day. Let your dreams slide away. And if like us that's not okay, then pay them no mind, pay them no mind.
Days and nights, I blaze and write life through a melody. Born to be free, I was a child to the 70s era. Every day the quest gets clearer. Do my best, death takes one step nearer.
And that's the best kept secret. Death, I don't fear you. Music express, ignorant tone deaf. I live where the drunk stagger. Smash phone boxes, so vexed till the next government check. Skets, loving and sex, more than themselves. A story to tell for all of us well. When I'm all in myself, I find myself writing it down to musical signs until I hear my soul calling itself.
Nah, surely through the years a couple tears will fall. Everybody gets theirs, be prepared for yours. To prove it, I chose music, infused it with pain and joy. Spoke of fame through the brain of a boy. Never did hard labor, lie laying cement. Doing shifts 8 to 6, ain't paying my rent or making no sense to the way I wanna live out. My last days on this earth till I fade and fizz out.
This is how it is, they say. You must live your life this way. This is how it's going to stay. Pay them no mind, pay them no mind. 9 to 5 every day. Let your dreams slide away. And if like us that's not okay, then pay them no mind, pay them no mind.
Sitting in the backyard with a washing out. Time goes like chewing gum when it's up around. Trap my finger in the door, made me up around like a madman. Drop my cup of tea, then I ran my mate. Talk about how I could've made it last year. Didn't do my A-levels, don't really care. College just a bag of dicks, a bag of tricks. Waking up every day to my Weetabix. Feeling like Bill Murray did it before. Same old mail dropping through my front door. At least I missed the dog in the middle of the curb that this woman kept stepping on and kept reoccurring.
No luck with the law, we was always rushed. Near the derelict flats with the doorway books. Broke lips, sick on the stairs, smell sick in the air. Tags on the wall that say Nicky was air. All over the wall, dark and beige. The graffiti was peeling and starting to fade. Every day mother came home dropping the keys. Ate too late, so bait mate, not for me.
You're listening to the sounds of Kane 103.7 FM.
Yeah. Wagwan. This is the man like Big Trev, bringing it from nuts. With the man like DJ Fever, up on the beat. And Scorzay Zee rapping with them rhymes. Yo, this is nuts.
Yo.
Feeling it?
Yo. Stone gun tongue, spike ball and chain for an arm. Put you in the devil's palm, nuclear blood. I'm armed with a sick barbershop, throat slitter. Mad Max first, verbal black earth. Laugh at your epitaph, snap you like flexiglass. Earthquake, groundbreaker till you're brown bread, mate. I'll beat you with a paperweight, your skin flakes like snow. Your face is like athlete's foot. Flow nice like I speak Spanish. Play 3 monkeys on the Greek language. Depends my servant. The finished version is a king's banquet. This track's the last supper. I killed Judas with a poisonous glass of wine. Scores Magnus Magnuson. Mastermind, voice box clip, flick a frozen bogey in your eyeball. I hold the cards, ace in my sleeve, it's my call. Poker face with a paint stripper, throw you in the flames. Which master 1, 2 and 3? You couldn't kidnap a paper plane. Rap Maradona, snatch the ball from your whole team and keep it forever. Watch me blow steam out cassette boxes. And Einstein, brain clever rebel. Spell my name in the sky like the red devil. Psychological grid, alien biological skin. It's only logic that I win fights. Squeeze your windpipe, blood ink tight. Touch dead skin and begin life. The vampire that never needs an invite. I'm stepping with a powerful weapon. I have a rapper recollecting his pattern, his breath, and his whole essence. I'm holding an atlas with Scoldor in hands that'll shatter a castle and have a civilization in tabernacles. I'm stepping with a powerful weapon. I have a rapper recollecting his pattern, his breath, and his whole essence. I'm holding an atlas with with scoldering hands that'll shatter a castle and have a civilization in tabernacle. The engineer needed oven gloves, mix it with my ghost in a speaker. Picasso exists, 27th February, very heavy baby. Twist cliffs on the reggae, not fake plates on the Reggie. Numbers change, rock clapped out, futures mapped out, living in a constellation. The ultimate warrior, swords of conversation, swinging shoulder blades, catch a slice, leave a rapper singing Michael Jackson songs, 1980 style. My life's a sacrifice, blaze mics like Zeus, raise hype like news, and walk on water like Jesus. I'm so broke, I rock a grey goose and Timberland shoes, leave the ground trembling, piss on your face, you pet gremlin, leave you back pedaling on a penny farthing, can't afford Henny, sip 2020 and your soul's a bargain. With more trophies than a martial artist, I bring the paper back to life and grow a garden on the margin. I'm stepping with a powerful weapon, I have a rapper recollecting his pattern, his breath, and his whole essence. I'm holding an atlas with Scoldor in hands that'll shatter a castle and have a civilization in tabernacles. I'm stepping with a powerful weapon, I have a rapper recollecting his pattern, his breath, and his whole essence. I'm holding an atlas with Scoldor in hands that'll shatter a castle and have a civilization in tabernacles. Did my paintbrush in Van Gogh's blood and seen Mozart, visions of angels like the reason why I flow dark, dragon fire, the never-ending story, part 50. My best rhymes are the dying, my heart was met. Lost boys hanging on a train track bridge. Turn your eyes to worms, wine to blood, and rip your scalp off, and that's it. Live forever in a day. Chew a hand grenade. 007, change your whole destiny with one handshake. Palm reader from a distance, detect your aura. Verbal jet skis, the one like Jet Li. B.A. Barocas, come at the end of the fight and sweep up. Turn the beat down, you get beat up. Stay in your lane, I'm a big truck without no brakes. A big fuck can leave a big head without no face. And be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. Life's written already and somebody has probably just said. I'm stepping with a powerful weapon, I have a rapper recollecting his pattern, his breath, and his whole essence. I'm holding an atlas with Scoldor in hands that'll shatter a castle and have a civilization in tabernacles. I'm stepping with a powerful weapon, I have a rapper recollecting his pattern, his breath, and his whole essence. I'm holding an atlas with Scoldor in hands that'll shatter a castle and have a civilization in tabernacles.
We no business war go on out there. 2002, yeah? Just watch out. You with me? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. Yes, people, this is Carpet Face, and you're locked into the Pioneers of Hip Hop show on Kane FM. Support independent hip hop. Respect. Peace.
Kane FM 103.7, Whirlwind D in the place to be. You just heard the sounds of Scorzay Zee with Wishmaster. Before that, out Ville and Paid 'Em No Mind. And we hyped the set with the P Brothers, Elysium Fields, taken from Heavy Bronx Experience Volume 1. So tonight has all been about Nottingham, an incredible city that's done so much for hip hop in this country. And we're going to pause our story at 2003. Now, of course, Nottingham history runs deep right into the present day, still incredibly influential. But for the purposes of this show, we're going to pause at 2003 and maybe come back to Nottingham in the future to continue to tell the story. But clearly, such an impact from those early days at Rock City right the way through to where we are now. So this is the point in the show when we get into some new music. Just before we do, let me remind you can catch previous shows on the Kane FM Mixcloud. Also, the most recent shows on the Whirlwind D YouTube. So most recently, we've looked at the history of Boston hip hop. We've looked at the history of cut and paste, Harlem history, and so much more. So check out the Whirlwind D YouTube for those shows, and please do leave a comment. Please subscribe for more as they come. And remember, you can catch the Pioneers Hip Hop Show live on Kane FM once a month on a Monday, 9 to 11 p.m, where every 4 weeks we run. And you can check out the Kane FM schedule on www.kanefm.com to see exactly when we are. But we'll be back in 4 weeks' time. But we aren't finished, because now we're into the new section of the show. And just before I get into that, speaking of new music, I've got to big up the Boot Records crew. You can catch them every couple of weeks, same time, 9 to 11 on a Wednesday night on Kane FM. Miracle and Jazz T always bringing the A game and the freshest new material. So speaking of new material, we're going to go straight into some new material, but let me tell you about the tracks I'm going to play. First up, you're going to hear the sounds of Phill Most Chill and the Superfunk Del Soulcondor remix, which is out on Del Soulcondor's label, Soulcondor Slices. I gotta give a huge big up to Del, one of the strongest people I know. Del at the moment, as many of you will know, is fighting a horrible case of cancer at the moment, but doing it in such a way that he's at the same time managing to run his record label. So much positivity. Big up to you, Del. This one's definitely dedicated to you. We're then going to move into brand new pre-release pressure from Franky Roar and Alikazam with a track called Kingslayer, out soon on Britcore Romance. Following that with the Allergies featuring Andy Cooper and their brand new track Are You Ready? Allergies cannot put a foot wrong. And then we're going to move into Mr. Fantastic and TK with Break It Down, another sure shot on AE Productions. So, 4 absolute bangers to leave you with. Remember, we're back in 4 weeks' time. We'll let you know what the topic's going to be. Myself and Specifik bringing the Pioneers flavour. But let's get straight into the new music. And like I say, this one is dedicated to my man Del Soulcondor. It's Phill Most Chill, Superfunk, the Del Soulcondor remix.
Super funky. Yeah. Phill Most Chill. Mr. Fantastic. We gonna do it like this. Check it out. Superfunk Incorporated. If you be a sucker MC, I'ma try to make sure you hate it. Fast rap made to get them agitated, aggravated. I can see they really ain't glad I made it. Cause now they gotta keep up or get left behind every time I speed up and go a mile a minute, rockin' them until the beat is finished. Back and forth like we playing table tennis. I make the girls dance like a lame business. Stick a leg out, spaz out till you pass out. Rappers so baboon that mean they ass out. Throw my pet rock right at your glass house. Let the living room and then shatter. Glass scatters all around the kitchen from the force of the vocals that I'm pitching, itching for a scratch. When I strike MCs are no match. When I go digging no beat I won't catch. Mr. Fantastic on the track. Phill Most Chill, you know I got it like that. And FYI, Def I try to make it so the fly girls might wanna lie naked with an MC. Well, you know the story. That kind of thing just go with the territory. 99. The drum break, drop heavy and shake walls and baseboards, fracture the joints and break floors. It is no longer safe no more. We ain't playing it. We say we rockin' the house. We mean what we saying. Speed demon rhyme till my ears are steaming, overheating every time I'm giving an MC a beat and going on and on. Maybe ain't really recommended for a rapper of my age, but on stage I'm long-winded. So please understand, I cannot be labeled like I'm just any other man. Brother man, hold the mic in my right foot. On the other hand, rappers are better devise another plan other than going toe to toe, meaning rhyme to rhyme or flow for flow. So much juice that it might overflow, and I'm only saying this just so you know that you are now hearing the epitome. In comparison, most rappers can't split a pea. I advise y'all grow legs like a centipede and start running when I come in the vicinity. But let's be friends, not enemies. Peace is the goal, love is the remedy. Had soul and that's the holy trinity, and I had soul before I lost my virginity. 99.
I'm a man with soul, I'm a man with soul, what the heck? Rock the discotheque, I'm a man with soul, I'm a man with soul, what the heck? Rock the discotheque, I'm a man with soul, I'm a man with soul, what the heck? Rock the discotheque, I'm a man with soul, I'm a man with soul, what the heck? Rock the discotheque. Rock the discotheque.
as you sit in the cheap seats. These beats are hitting the streets, peeps. A sheep sleep I've written in heaps deep. Creep, leap to grab him and curse. Look at him and thirst. Like Adam and his madam, I had him first. Word search the greed that I seed and needed. Breed, need and lead him to freedom, bleeding. Heathens are sipping, trip your grip slipping. Rip the hits bitten by lips when it's written. I run towns where nuns lounge, lunge nouns and plunge clowns, sleep into depression like grunge sounds. I won crowns where some rounds have come to sundown and unwound, unbound venom and unfrowned. Some found I'm vexed within. Text to spin, then I skin your next of kin. Let's begin. I sussed your thug lust, and plus I slug dust like a crush in a drug bust. Heart the start proof, I knock the sharp tooth, shark youth and park truth, spark your dark booth. Your vision's lit when I spit the precision of it. Grit, collision and hit, now your decision is split. Crammer zone, home grammar and jam alone. Slam a tone that's known in a manner to gramophones. Stop crying cause you're trying to hear flows. De-exposed pros on the Pioneer shows. Yeah, this is Cell 1 from the Gutter Snipes. Check it out, Whirlwind D, Kane FM. Shock it, rock it in the pocket. Tick tock it, shake it, pop, lock it. Now you hear the flow, check the Pioneer show with Whirlwind D as he drop it.
Kingslayer. 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 Kingslayer.
I like these calm little moments before the storm.
Introducing Kingslayer. Kingslayer. Kingslayer.
Living manifesting, no second guessing, I hit the question. You claim to be the number one lyrical lesson. You claim to be the messiah, bringing the fire. Now put your fucking mic down, if please and retire. They always say that you shouldn't meet your idols, but you can't rap it, and you just haven't read the vitals. You think you got the crown and you won all the titles by spitting wet verses for your zombies or disciples. You misplaced trust is just a vicious cycle. You claim to be the king and entitled to the title. They say the issue back and we'll get things tribal. You think that everybody held your breath for your arrival. The war cry that somebody's gotta die, annihilating lyrically as amplified. The alphabet assassin, metaphorical samurai. It's gone on for too long and I can turn a blind eye. Push out for the masses, about to kick in the acids, releasing more molecules and hypnotical gases. Cause we will up like drinking battery acid. But in the competition, reducing them to ashes. Kingslayer, the player, you better say it with prayers. Hip hop owes me money and you're a late payer. I'm fed up with the British from the naysayer. Your head's so big it plugs the ozone layer. Give it a cardiac, we're about to attack. You're gonna get up like an infomaniac. Cause we believe you're feeling like we did in the crack. Alikazam and Franky Roar, yeah, we're taking it back. But we're not taking it back to stagnate on the track. It's all about skills, respect, and don't rap. You think that you're all that, but we know you're whack. We're coming to get you on the Kingslayer track.
Kingslayer. 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 Kingslayer.
Cause we were schooled in about to create the hard noise of the music in motion. Now we're reaching our peak, bringing in ill justice to the toys up on the street, doing away with soccer MCs cause your style is obsolete. You better be the retreater, being the leader, a leader, you bleeder. I go deeper, you get cut for the misdemeanor. Better believe I bring the heater, drown you in a millimeter, destroying the usurpers with my lyrical meat. Cleaner, so let's take it up all night to 2 1, ready to write the mic for you. See, I keep through with the rookie through the Liverpool juju, this is cool. Better protect your neck, not the wound, this ain't a case of deja vu. We're coming running back to do specific on the ones or two. Ready to kill it, drill it with 2 needles, make you feel it. See, I'm not even an upper limit, you're gonna get done in a minute. Styles I got it infinite, you're such a fucking hypocrite. Ego's got his own of it because you believe that's who you shit. Flows on the off counterfeit and we have had enough of it. It's all about the legacy and not about the championship. We're gonna keep it going, flowing, holding true. As we know, it's all about the unity and not about the shit you're showing. Swinging the battle lap, swinging the battle rap, watching the fake empire collapse. Look at the crack, let's examine the facts. Your style is smack, played out and whack. You burned all your bridges like a pyromaniac. Abstract, acrobatical, travel the geographical. It's me and Franky Roar going back with the fanatical, the radical rhyme writer that enter the mic, cipher the dominant force, destroying your zeitgeist. Kingslayer, the player, you better say you're a prayer. Hip hop owes me money and you're a late payer. I'm better with the bullish from the naysayer. Your head's so big it pumps the ozone layer. Kingslayer.
Kingslayer. Kingslayer. Kingslayer. Kingslayer. Kingslayer.
103.7 Kane FM.
ladies and gentlemen.
You're listening to Kane 103.7 FM.
DK, Mr. Fantastic, it's the breakdown, y'all.
Been around forever at the top, perception. TK Tariq, your preference, I've stepped in. Been in landscapes, multiple directions. Heating up the beat, oven convection. Plus conviction, no spinning tall tales. Roaming on this planet since 5 will set sail. Even Romans understand it, empirical details. It ain't about your streams or your dreams of retail. Sales to the cats from Calgary to Bristol. It's an Old West showdown, so draw your pistol. When it comes to money, you ain't got no fistfuls. With them one for test, can't mess with this flow. Can't mess with this beat, fantastic. Legendary TK of the Dragonfly Empire, making black history. It ain't even February. It's the break down. TK Fantastic, Sonics now. Get down as the record keeps spinning like round and round. It's the break down. Dragonfly AE now off the ground. Get down as the record keeps spinning like round and round. Round we go, feeling like Pac pre-94. With the underground digital, we wildin' now. My show toe Adidas still styling now. Been labeled outdated, still rock the crowd. Still kill the beat, whether gone for weeks, whether gone for years, still murk careers. Pick up the mic, never left still, yeah. Never screaming like the main way of doing things. Always beaming your frown, could never stop the swing. Never stop the metronome, tapping drum pads. This is for the real sampling, there's no fads. This is what we know, one of the best yet. Starts with the gang, get ready and get set. No Ferraris, Lambos, Corvettes. Blue collar hip hop, and this is a sure bet. It's the break down. TK Fantastic, Sonics now. Get down as the record keeps spinning like round and round. It's the break down. Dragonfly AE now off the ground. Get down as the record keeps spinning like round and round. The way we get live, spinning vinyl 45s. Nothing but the greats fill up the disc drive. And the playlist, so yes, you nailed it. Hip hop that resonates, we inhale it. Catalog it, we never jock it. Some call us purists, well yes, the shoe fits. We pursue it and take it to another level. Pump up the bass and better turn it up the treble. Smooth vocal tone, I rap an Aaron Neville. And when I hit the stage, you see the rebels revel. LH to Burn City, to Viña Del Mar. Never thought hip hop would take me this far. In some kind of limelight, like Biggie, I rhyme tight for any kind of audience. Shining the bright lights with passion and energy. Precise solution, doubters get the figure 4. Excellence of execution. Break down. TK Fantastic, Sonics now. Get down as the record keeps spinning like round and round. It's the break down. Dragonfly AE now off the ground. Get down as the record keeps spinning like round and round.
Kane FM 103.7.